Hello, and welcome to another episode of Bored and Annoyed. I am home at the movies.
And I am Jackson.
And today we're going to be discussing a couple movies. A couple really good ones.
Yeah, I saw a few.
Spoiler alert. You don't even need to listen to the rest of the podcast because I just gave away everything.
Well, you don't know how good I thought a couple of them were.
Okay. All right. Bored and Annoyed. First of all, do you want to go over the news?
Sure.
All right. So, A Quiet Place opened really big.
I saw that, like 50 million, right?
50 million. They were originally, it was, I don't know, like a week ago. The projections were at like 30.
And it cost 40, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. Well, good for them.
Yeah. I'm really glad it's doing well.
Right.
I like Krasinski, so.
Yeah, it's doing well, even though a movie theater might be the worst place to watch it.
Oh my God.
World.
Yeah, don't get the nachos if you're going to go see this movie.
It was insane. We had, at our screening, we had people, like the first 5 minutes was like musical chairs. We had a couple different people that were sitting in other people's seats.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
It's assigned seating. This is not complicated.
Right. So you had people like standing there like, dude, get out of my seat. And it's the worst possible movie to have that happen in my opinion, because it's so quiet. I don't know. I was shocked at, it's amazing how you can still be surprised by the way people act in a movie theater. It's like, come on. And these are adults,
Yeah. Somebody fell asleep in our screening.
Oh, and you could hear that, I'm sure.
Yes. It was just the nice, like literally right behind us.
Yeah. Also, don't go to the movie with anyone you know is a mouth breather.
It's so true.
Because it is a quiet movie, and it's supposed to be a quiet place to watch A Quiet Place. And it isn't necessarily, depending on how lucky you get.
Yeah. Well, I kind of felt like a dick eating my nachos because I had to kind of, break them into two pieces so you can fit the whole thing in your mouth.
You shouldn't have gotten nachos.
I shouldn't have gotten nachos. Well, here's the thing. We got the pretzel bites, but I was like, one's not enough because I'm a hungry boy going into this movie. And they didn't actually have more than one. So we had to settle for nachos.
There you go.
I was disappointed.
Well, and loud, I'm sure. Oh, or just really stressed out trying to eat them during the movie.
One might say I was annoyed.
There you go. But
other box office news, Black Panther passed Titanic at the domestic box office.
Which shocks me. I can't believe that, but
it's insane.
I mean, Titanic was out for like 10 months in the theater.
Yeah. Well, I mean, inflation, 3D prices, IMAX screens. I mean, all that stuff. But I don't want to take shit away from the movie either. I mean, it's still really a good accomplishment.
Yeah, it's really good, and it got a ton of media play, and people really like it. So good for them.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Yeah, I was shocked. Honestly, it might get close to 700 million based on where it's at now.
Well, I think it's going to pass The Last Jedi, probably.
Well, it already has.
Did it?
Yeah. Another interesting piece of news, they're making Toy Story 4.
Good news. I'll be there right away to see the first showing, I'm sure.
Really?
Big fan of Toy Story.
I love Toy Story. I don't know where you go with the movies, though, at this point.
They know what they're doing. Who knows? Some other jackass kid gets a hold of the toys. Or like one neighbor owns Buzz and the other owns Woody, and somehow,
do like a Civil War thing, house versus house,
sure.
Buzz versus...
Yeah, you can do whatever you want. I'll be there. I liked all three of the first ones. Pixar has not done too poor of a job.
No, outside of the car movies, which I never saw
I didn't like the first one.
Second.
Didn't like either of the first two. Never saw the third one. That's probably the weakest of the Pixar.
Yeah, easily.
Movies.
Easily. Yeah, Illumination Studios, though. Did you see the trailer for The Grinch?
I haven't seen... Was it just like a teaser with the character? Because I haven't seen anything.
It played before when we saw Isle of Dogs.
Okay. Yeah, no, I don't think that trailer was attached to... Oh, you did see Isle of Dogs?
I did.
Oh, okay. Nice. Oh, all right.
Yes, we got two movies to talk about.
Okay.
I mean, you've got a third.
Yeah.
I don't know if I really want to check that one out.
And it was good.
Okay.
It was good.
Benedict Cumberbatch is going to be the Grinch.
Benedict Cumberbun.
Bun, yeah.
Yeah, that's what.
Cabbage
Patch.
Patch.
Good name, yeah. Right.
Yeah, he's going to be... I like yeah, that's a good name. There's a real good joke you had there. You'd be the millionth person to make a Cumberbatch joke.
Well, you can't help it, though.
No, it's such a fun name. But yeah, he's the Grinch. That trailer is atrocious. I feel like it's a threat. Like, hey, we're making another Grinch movie, and it's Illumination Studios. The worst part about it is the trailer starts, and it's just one of these fucking minions coming out, and it just goes, Illumination Studios!
So that's like their thing.
Yeah.
That's their logo.
That's their logo now. That's their...
So you hate the Minions or what?
I absolutely despise the Minions.
Really?
The Minions movie is fucking awful.
Really?
And here's the thing. The first movie, when you see them, you're like, yeah, these things are cute and ridiculous and stupid and it's funny. And then they realize that they had a thing. And so they just hammer it.
Okay. So they were good as like a side character in that Despicable Me movie, but
they didn't overdo it. It was always about the main character, and then they were sort of there for side jokes. But then slowly they became the icon, and the main character sort of became
right. I mean, I don't know much about those. I've never seen any of those.
They're not worth checking out.
Cool.
See, I can say that here because I'm not using footage from the trailer for them to be like, oh, you're going to hurt our movie's profits. But yeah, I feel like I was threatened in the theater. But yeah, maybe get into the movie reviews.
Yeah, all right. Well, I mean, the big one was A Quiet Place, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the people have spoken. That's
the big one.
That's the big one.
I might surprise you here.
Okay.
I thought it was pretty good. I'm not like...
Okay.
I wasn't in love with it, but I feel like it was pretty good, and it's my own fault for thinking that because there's a big... it is the plot, and I should probably get over it. But I kept thinking to myself, what the hell are you doing getting pregnant during this? And that's a huge part of the movie.
This is true.
That's the movie. And my thought is like, how irresponsible. You just had a child that got killed right in front of you. How are you going to, yes, this is going to cause problems, and maybe it'll be, it'll be worth it or whatever.
Right.
But I'm sitting here thinking to myself,
of all the things you couldn't steal from the grocery store, maybe some condoms?
Condoms, or like you're on just a blowjob only program or something?
I mean, it's the apocalypse, I mean, we all got to get our own, but,
But that's a very, like, nitpicky problem. So I have to get over that and say, I mean, all the, like, set pieces with the, the suspenseful, crazy, scary shit in it was amazing, I thought. I like how it kind of felt like a Diary of Anne Frank type feel. Like, imagine this was Nazi Germany, and these are like these Jewish people that are hiding, and you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. That kind of was the metaphor I kind of saw in it. And then there was also the bit about, like, kind of spoilers, but it's the first scene of the movie. But just the fact that, the little kid dies right away. And like, how do you process that when you can't communicate effectively? And how do you live with that?
Right.
And nobody has dealt with it.
Right.
None of the characters have dealt with it properly.
I think that was maybe one of my favorite things about the movie is it just starts and 10 minutes in, there's a death.
I clapped in the theater like a light clap because I thought it was hilarious. Like, what a great way to start a movie. There are going to be repercussions for your actions in this movie.
Right.
What was my thought.
Yep.
Like, it's going to have balls. It might be PG-13 because when you see that, you're always like,
Was it PG-13? It was PG-13, wasn't it?
It was.
Because there were a few times where I was like, oh, man, I wish they had shown that bit. Okay, so we're talking about A Quiet Place. Maybe we should just give like a quick little story recap for anybody who doesn't. Maybe future people, 30 years in the future, they just
don't know what it's about.
Who don't know it. So
yeah, I'll let me run with this.
You go it.
Okay, so the movie takes place. I'm assuming it's kind of present day, or is it? Did they have a year, or did they just show months? They didn't
have a year, but it's supposed to be present day.
Maybe a year or two in the future or something.
Yeah.
Basically, they don't tell you where these monsters came from. It doesn't concern itself with that.
It's not important.
It's not important, right. And basically there's these monsters that showed up, We don't know where from, but they hunt by sound. They can't see anything.
Yep.
They hunt by sound. So as long as you're quiet, you're good.
Yep.
There's this family. I mean, we're assuming that not many people made it through this, right? There's people out there, but there's not many.
It's you primarily only follow this family in the movie.
Right. You follow one family. It's a mother, father, 2 sons, and a daughter. And basically the movie opens and one of the kids is killed. I'm just going to say it because that's the plot of the movie. It's not really a spoiler.
Right. Well, and it's one of those things like, can you really spoil something that happens in the first 10 minutes?
No, I would say, well yeah, I mean, you can.
You can, and kind of this is the situation where you can.
Right.
Because it's so shocking, because I
didn't expect it at all. And they showed it in the trailer, and you still didn't expect it.
Well, yeah, because I guess I didn't even register that was a character that we knew.
Yeah. And you should probably put a spoiler warning on this.
Yeah, we're going to be doing some spoilers on this.
Put some sort of a thing up in writing.
Look, if this is your first episode of Bored and Annoyed, we basically spoil right away.
That's true. Yeah, they have to live their lives and accept that this happened and try to survive through these monsters.
Yep.
There's not much of them trying to figure out how to kill the monsters, I would say.
No,
I mean, there's a whiteboard with something written on it, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Which is always more interesting to me. I mean, it's not this thing where it's like, okay, the movie's going to end with someone discovers the cure and all the monsters in the world are going to, it's not this grand scale thing. It's a very personal movie about this one family. Nothing else matters.
Yeah. They didn't do like the, what was the first Star Wars, the new one, episode 1?
Oh, Phantom Menace.
They didn't do the Phantom Menace where they blew up a thing and then all of them died.
And then they all die. Right. Or Edge of Tomorrow would be a good example.
Yeah.
Where there was like a
or the
mother
Avengers.
ship. Yeah. Right.
They all do it because it's because nobody wants to see an epilogue where it's like 20 minutes of them cleaning up after the other aliens.
But yeah, no, I mean, everything about the movie, the way it was shot, like the set design, all that stuff was good. The only issues I had with it were those things where you're like, oh, come on. Like there's a scene in it where one of the characters is like hiding in like a soundproof bunker that they built.
Yeah.
And there's water that leaks into this thing. And I'm sitting there thinking like, okay, John Krasinski, like you just walked like 10 feet from this spigot of draining water.
Yeah.
And you didn't hear anything.
Yeah. Especially in a world where your hearing would maybe be pretty fucking good because you don't talk all the time.
No, you'd be hearing everything. You'd be worried and scared shitless about everything you heard.
I'd say the only problem with that is the way that they shot that scene, because it shows him getting out and then you realize how close the water was to him, and it's like, fine, he didn't hear it, but the problem is that the audio as you get closer to the water, it gets louder,
right, to
the point where you're like, how could you not hear that?
Is it a problem with the script? I would say no, it's just a personal. Like, right. I noticed it. It bothered me for a second.
Yep.
But all the other stuff in it, the themes in it, like the conversations between the characters, the ones that you did get to see because they could talk, were really well thought out and emotional.
Yep.
And, you cared about everyone in it. It wasn't an empty horror movie, I would say.
I would say I enjoyed the movie. I'm an idiot. I look at Rotten Tomatoes and I'm like, damn.
It's a masterpiece.
96%? How the fuck is this not like, a 9 out of 10 movie? It's more like an 8.
I mean, personally, I would give it an 8, I guess. I don't think it's like the greatest horror movie of the last decade or anything.
No, that there was some serious hyperbole in some of those TV spots.
But it's 8 on me. Like as far as like the style that it's done in, the fact that it's different, like it's skillful. The way it was, the writing in it is really good.
The writing in it is really good.
For a horror movie, I think it deserves a 9, but 97% isn't a masterpiece. Like for me, you probably disagree with me, but I like this a lot better than Get Out, for instance.
I think the thing about, that's kind of an interesting statement, because the thing that I like about Get Out is that Get Out really seems to have something to say about society.
Sure.
And this one, doesn't really have.
No, this is a
deeper
horror
themes.
movie.
This
purely.
is a straight, like, it's a straight story. Like there is no, what's the meaning of the father's beard in the movie? There's no metaphors.
Yeah, no,
really
I think the metaphor, like I said, I kept thinking to myself, like, the protection of your children under some sort of like authoritarian rule. That was what was going through my head.
Yeah,
like that's what it drew parallels for me.
That's not half bad, actually.
You know,
because I didn't think about that when I was watching. I was just like, God, like I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the movie. Everything is well done, cinematography, sound design, everything. But I'm like, I don't know what you're trying to say other than I would do anything for my kids, and you do what you can for your kids.
That's the big message of the movie, right?
Yeah. But other than that, I don't. And that's why Get Out to me is a little bit more special, because the dialogue is on point in Get Out. And honestly, I didn't see a lot of the twists coming in Get Out.
But you did. The only thing I didn't have down was the fact that they were implanting the everything else. Like
even the grandfather and the...
No, see, that's just it. I didn't have the part where they were like, see, I'd have to see it again.
Right.
But there was like the older people were auctioning off African Americans,
right,
so that the older people's consciousness could be transplanted into them.
Yeah.
That I didn't have. But the girlfriend being bad, and obviously that there was some sort of surgery, mind control. I just felt like they showed too much in the trailers, to be honest with you, on that one.
And those trailers were pretty fucking good, though. Because I mean,
I was intrigued as hell. That one was more of a case of what you're saying about this one, where I saw 99 or 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, I think it was, and I was like, this is going to be fucking great.
Right.
And then I showed up and I'm like, well, it's good. It's kind of just a 2-hour long Twilight Zone episode, though.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? I'm completely fine with those, because that's what Cloverfield or 10 Cloverfield Lane was.
I suppose that's kind of what this was.
And that's kind of what this was. And I'm like, you know what? Let's just do weird sci-fi shit. Just take what would be a premise of a Twilight episode and just give it like everything. Give it the budget it needs.
Right.
Give it the script it needs.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, so you'd say this was a pretty good movie?
This was a good movie.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I wouldn't call it great, though. I enjoyed myself. The scene where she is in the bathtub
is crazy. Yeah, it's great.
Is great.
Well, that was when I was like, oh, I guess I don't mind that she's pregnant, because it made for a pretty kick-ass scene here.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
And when John Krasinski comes up the stairs and she's no longer in there and he sees all the blood, he did some pretty great acting. And it's to the movie's credit that I bought that they could have died.
Really?
I legitimately... Because the second that they killed the first kid, I'm like, nobody's safe in this movie. I mean, you're not going to have the movie where everybody dies.
Yeah.
But you could kill a mom and a newborn child and just be like, the message could be like, John is John's character. I don't even know.
They don't have names.
They don't have names.
No,
okay.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
I don't care what their fucking names are.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Right.
And that's sort of like the interesting thing about this movie is like,
None of it matters.
None of it matters. Yeah. What matters is the situation that you're in. And that's kind of cool.
Maybe the kids had names. Maybe. I don't remember, but I
definitely don't remember.
Think that they named the parents.
No, they didn't.
No.
Because
a kid calls their parent, I mean, I suppose no. A kid calls their parent mom or dad, and the parent calls the kid by their name.
That's true. You were saying that you liked all the characters. I was borderline hating the daughter.
The deaf girl.
The deaf girl. And that makes me sound like a prick. I understand that.
I kind of think you're a prick. I thought she was pretty good.
Here's the thing. The actress did a great job. I hated the fact, like, everything that she did got people more in shit. She's like, oh, I'm going to give my brother a thing that's going to get him killed. Oh, I'm going to... Wasn't she the one who knocked over the lamp when they were playing Monopoly?
I don't remember, and I don't remember why. But the point is, wouldn't that be the case if you had a deaf daughter in that situation?
That's true.
Wouldn't she be the one that kind of fucked things up? And isn't that why the father character is kind of like, no, I don't want you to come with us?
Right. Well, and I get that. I started getting a little I couldn't help it. I started getting a little irritated because I'm like, if she had been home with her mom, shit might have gone a little bit better.
Yeah, but she's
instead,
all pissy and,
But she's all pissy. And it's like, I understand you're a kid. But the thing is, you're in a shit fucking situation. And I understand that it's been like over a year since...
it's been like 300 days at that point, I think.
Yeah. And so I understand you sort of get lulled into like, this is just life. And she thinks that she can just leave and go to her brother's grave and, just be a mopey teen. But it's like, you should never forget the situation that you're in. And it kind of pissed me off that she wasn't there to help her mom.
Even if she was there, though, I mean, she's not going to hear the thing. I mean, it doesn't really matter.
That's true. It still bothered the fuck out of me, though. I can't help it.
I'm pissed that there was a pregnant lady who got pregnant after the apocalypse started. It seems a little, seems a little...
they seemed pretty fucking prepared to... Like, that was...
That was interesting.
I think the thing that I really liked about it was, like, they did a lot of the stuff that you think that you would do in that situation. You set up codes. You all learn sign language.
Right.
They've got the sand tray or the...
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
Like the footstep spots where you're supposed to stand because the door or the floor creaks, I'm assuming.
Yep. That was great. How did you like the design of the monster?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Loved it.
I was watching it. I'm like, okay, Sony, Venom. This is what you do.
They can't do that now. And that is a Venom look. That's like a Carnage Venom look to it. I mean, the like especially at the end when you really got to see it, and it's got like these
plates that kind of like separate from its face.
Awesome. And how when it's hunting, like the one comes off of its ear, so you can see its big ass ear that's like vibrating.
That was pretty fucking cool.
And I thought about that too, is like, there gets to be a point, I mean, there's still some things about it where you're like, okay, I've seen something like this before. I mean, it's getting to the point where they can't make one that you haven't seen before. But as far as that goes, this still is second place this year on movie monsters for me when compared to the bear in Annihilation.
Right. Yeah.
That's my opinion, and that's
true.
That's
just very fucking true.
That could just be because of the way that monster was used in that scene and the voice coming out of its mouth. But
that was far creepier.
It does not take the
But also, that's a rated R versus a PG-13. Yeah, so it's kind of tough because she that bear just destroys that woman.
Well, but it's not even that. It's just that scene where you see its face and hear the voice coming out of it.
I'll give you that.
That thing was the shit. But anyways,
I love that design. That design is amazing.
Yeah, because you've never seen anything like that. I hadn't seen anything like that ever. Like it's rare for something like, or hear it. Maybe it's just because of what they did with it.
Right.
But my thought in the theater was like, okay, that is totally unique. I'm 100% behind this right now. This is awesome.
I love the fact that we're once again talking about Annihilation when we should be talking about the latest movie. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
No, I don't think I am either. I rarely am. Let's be honest.
That's the side podcast. Jackson's never wrong.
Right. But no, the creature design was good. There's a really good emotional scene in there involving the dad,
Right.
Yeah. So there was
that was great.
Oh, it was amazing. And it was set up like as far as a script, like setting up a scene perfectly.
Yep. There's a lot of setup and payoff in the movie. Oh, yeah, that was done very well.
I agree. Back to the whole like things you would do, like the carriage for the kid with like the oxygen tank and shit.
Yes.
Awesome.
Genius.
Yeah.
Genius. And the fact that they were taking all those newspapers and plastering them on the wall to make it a soundproof room.
Right.
Great. The fact that he's got this room where he's just going out and trying to send out signals. That's absolutely something you would do.
Right.
The lights and then the different colors of the lights to let you know.
Fucking great.
Shit.
Yeah.
Everything. Like, it was really well thought out. And it's one of those things where now I'm talking about it, I'm like, God damn, like there are some great aspects of this movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good movie. As if you it's not like Citizen Kane or Lawrence of Arabia or something, but as far as like a horror movie goes, it does its job almost perfectly.
Right.
For me, my problem is my problem, And when I think about the fact that you would get pregnant during this, it takes me out of the movie for a minute. That's my issue, though. I had a buddy who I had an argument with about there was the season of Game of Thrones where little Rickon gets killed by what's Ramsay Bolton, and he's running away. Ramsay tells him to run, and Ramsay shoots the bow and arrow.
Are you the guy who thinks why isn't he zigzagging?
Yes, that's the problem. And to me, that takes me out of it because I played Tecmo Bowl when I was a kid, and I know that you get away and you avoid contact by zigzagging when you're running. But that's my problem.
I will go down this rabbit hole with you for a second here. So I kind of was in the same boat. I was like, why the fuck aren't you moving? But it's one of those things where it's like, it's easy to think of as an onlooker. But I think when you put yourself in the character's shoes.
And he's 5 years old.
And it's like, there's just no way you'd think about it. You're just like, I'm fucking running.
I would think about
it. Well, you would because you've had that experience. Would you think about that at 5 years old, or would you just be like, fuck, and you just be running terrified?
Well, I mean, admittedly, the whole context of me bringing this up is like, it's true. It's my problem that I have an issue with that. It's not like a script issue, so I have trouble judging this movie.
Right. Krasinski's death. I really did enjoy that scene.
Oh, it was amazing.
It was girlfriend actually started crying during that scene.
My girlfriend started crying earlier than that during a scene. And
really?
I laughed at her and told my friend who was also with us at the movie that she was crying because I thought it was hilarious.
You're a lovely boyfriend.
It was the scene where, I think it was the scene where he's talking to the son at the waterfall or whatever. But I mean, the fact that it's a horror movie that does that, though, is impressive.
Yeah, that was great. I actually really liked that conversation. I loved the way that Krasinski looks at his son when his son says, like, she thinks that you hate her, and he asks her, do you still love her? And he looks at him like,
are you fucking kidding
Are you
me?
Serious? Krasinski is an underrated actor.
Yeah,
I'm just
he's
gonna
good.
go out
You're
and
an
fucking
Office
say,
guy. You know him better than me.
Dude,
but
he is the most likable person on The Office. It's fucking ridiculous. You just watch it and you're like, why can't I be this guy?
Yeah, I mean, I thought he was good. Emily Blunt was really good.
Emily Blunt is always great.
Yeah, I know.
And the kids, all the kids were good.
Yeah, except for you hate little deaf girls, I guess.
No, performance was great.
Okay.
I'm like, God damn, if you could just be a little bit more part of the family.
Did you get a little like signs?
Yes,
flashbacks there at the end.
Yep, everything kind of clicked.
Yeah.
At the end, they're like, oh, this just happened to be the one, and that's one of those things where you're like, okay, so convenience, suspension of disbelief.
Well, and it wasn't a twist because you knew the whole time.
Yes,
it just took her forever to figure it out.
Yep. That was another one where I was like, why aren't you figuring this out? Like, every time the monster gets close to you. Well, here's the thing. The only time that she ever had it was when...
the corn thing. When they got stuck in the corn,
Well,
right?
she was looking for her brother in the corn. And that was the first time she experienced it.
She
didn't know it was
Which
there.
was fucking great.
That was great. That was a great scene, too.
Oh.
God damn. See, now I'm like listening. I'm like thinking about it.
It's
like,
really
this movie
it's
is
good,
a good
man.
fucking movie.
It's good, yeah.
But the only time that she was consciously aware that a beast was near her was when they were in the truck. So it only happened once. Wait, no, in
the like corn.
In the corn
I don't even know.
mill
I'm not a farm
thing.
guy, so I don't know.
In the big tower,
that
silo
whole stuff.
Or
Silo. Yeah, there you go.
We figured it out. City Slickers.
Yeah, so like there was a scene where they get attacked in there, but yeah, no, only like twice really.
Yeah, but she was okay. So,
but you might not jump to that conclusion
exactly.
If you're her,
and I was in the movie. I was like, why aren't you fucking figuring this out?
But that's designed to make you feel that you're frustrated.
You're frustrated.
That's the point.
And the whole movie is good about that because it knows. It's one of those movies that. I imagine like when they're writing it, they're kind of like, okay, so what is the audience supposed to be feeling right now? And they understand sort of like how you're supposed to be feeling through the movie. And so it's kind of like this nice, smooth sort of feeling of like anxiety and love and frustration and anger and fear. And it was really well done as far as that. Like it was, I don't know. I'm just going off on a tangent.
It's not my favorite movie of the year or anything.
No. I don't know. I'm a little
Sounds
worried.
Like you're talking yourself into liking it more. As you
I am definitely. I'm not starting off at I gave it an 8. I might bump it to like an 8.5. It's pretty fucking good.
Yeah, it's good. If you like that kind of shit, you're gonna have a good time.
The only thing that really, really fundamentally bothered me when I was walking out was, so on that whiteboard that you were talking about earlier, they got all the, how many do we know that are in the area? They got all this information on the beast, and it says armor. And you're like, oh shit, so that's why the military wasn't able to do something, is because, you can't kill them because they got bulletproof armor or something. Good enough reason. But then at the end, when she's using her hearing aid and they're opening their head, you're telling me that the military never fucking figured that out?
Maybe they didn't have time. It's been like 80 something days and the whole world has been destroyed. So
yeah, it's just one of those things where I'm like, really?
Yeah, see, that's a personal problem though. That's like me, where you're just like, oh, God damn it.
Well, it's the problem of suspension of disbelief, because you can take yourself so far in it, which is weird. I feel like a dick because it's like it's a movie where monsters are hunting people.
Yeah, you shouldn't care about how realistic it is.
Yeah, but it is one of those things where I'm like, how many people live on the planet now? Like 4 billion, something like that. Nobody fucking figured this shit out. I don't know. I did like the bit.
But here's the thing. There could be people all over the world that have figured it out, but you just don't know about it because there is no news, there's no internet.
That's very true.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, and
there's probably plenty of people that have figured out how to kill the fucking things, you would think, but
that's sort of weird though, is they actually establish it early on that he's going out and doing the radio signaling and nobody is
right. That's true.
So
but they also have, at the beginning, he's lighting the torch, and then the other people are lighting torches around, aren't they?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, so he has like neighbors. They're just like 3-4 miles away.
Right, and maybe one of them is that old bitter beer face guy that shows up for no reason and gets killed in the movie.
When I saw that in the trailer, I was like, this guy is going to be the worst performer in the whole fucking movie.
And you were right.
That was pretty fun, but I liked it. I liked it because it's really impressive from a story standpoint, from a storytelling standpoint. That there's no dialogue. You just see his wife dead on the ground, and you surmise exactly what happened, and you know exactly why he's doing it. He's done.
Right, and I don't blame him.
Next movie, Isle of Dogs.
I fucking loved it. I thought it was great.
I thought it was pretty good.
I thought it was great. I loved it. It's my favorite movie this year so far.
Really?
Yes. I thought it was fun. I'm just a
big Wes Anderson fan.
Wes Anderson fan.
So Isle of Dogs stars a bunch of Wes Anderson's favorite people. It's about a Japanese kid who has his dog exiled to the Isle of Dogs, which was a
trash island.
It was a trash island initially, where apparently the Japanese just laid all their trash, and then there's a dog flu that goes around, and basically they use that as an excuse to get rid of all the dogs in Japan. But this kid's like, hell no, I fucking love my dog, so he's going to go and get him. And then a group of dogs help him find his dog.
There's a fun adventure with the kid.
It's a fun adventure.
It is.
I love the fact that they didn't give you subtitles. I thought that was like
great.
I thought that was an awesome choice.
You're gonna like this New Vision issue with that movie. New Vision Theaters. There's a movie theater in our town called New Vision, and they don't do a great job on stuff. In this case, it was the first showing of the movie. I can see how this happened, but when there were like 4 moments where there were subtitles, I think subtitles popped up 4 times. Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Like sometimes shit was on the side of the screen, sometimes shit was over here, but like there's the part at the end with the doctor, and I think someone's like translating it or something. There's a reason why you need to know what the character said.
Right.
Bottom line of them cut off on the bottom of the screen.
Oh.
So there were like 1 out of the 4 I completely got just using my brain. I was like, okay, that's how that sentence probably ends. And I was right.
Bullshit.
So I let them know after the movie. Hopefully they fix it. I'm sure all it was is turning one knob to zoom the screen. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. So whatever. Just something to note. I loved the movie. It's a 9 for me. It ranks right up there. It's not as good as the Royal Tenenbaums. Better than something like...
So I didn't like it as much as Grand Budapest. I love
Grand Budapest is like top 3, though. Royal Tenenbaums is my favorite. I liked it better than Fantastic Mr. Fox, which I also really liked.
I haven't seen that.
There's not a movie that he's made that I don't like. I don't think. I mean...
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is they're very much, I don't want to say an acquired taste, but
they are.
And I think that was my problem with the movie is I definitely didn't hate it. I had a really good time. It's another, I'd give it a solid like 8. It's definitely a good movie, but it's one of those things where when you spend enough time in a Wes Anderson movie, sometimes it's just like, by the end I was like, the humor isn't working as well for me. And I still laughed at the end, but I realized that at the beginning of the movie, every fucking joke I was laughing out loud. And by the way, I love going to see Wes Anderson movies in the theater because everybody has the same kind of laugh, which is like like everybody's fucking stifling their laughter because it doesn't fucking project, hey, this is a fucking joke.
Right. No, it's very dry.
It's so dry.
It's like giggles.
Yeah.
There's little giggles throughout the theater, throughout the movie.
It's so great.
Well, and if you go see it early, you're seeing it with other Wes Anderson folk.
Yes.
It didn't do as well as A Quiet Place, but I saw the first screening sold out. It only made and it's probably still being trickled into screens, but it only made like 11 million. And the other movie I saw, the Ted Kennedy one this weekend, was maybe there might have been like 6 people in the theater, whereas Isle of Dogs was like full, and it only made like 2 million more. So the fact that the people that are excited to see it are going to go see it, and they're going to like it. And there's going to be people that see it and don't get it.
Right. Well, see, and I saw A Quiet Place. We actually did a back-to-back thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I actually started feeling sick on Friday, so we actually didn't go see A Quiet Place on Friday.
Oh, really?
So we did a back-to-back yesterday. And A Quiet Place was completely sold out, much to my dismay because of the snoring dude and the mouth breathers.
That's going to be a good one when it comes out on Blu-ray, to just sit in a dark, quiet room and watch by yourself.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. But anyways, Isle of Dogs, there was movie, the theater was about half full. But everybody there seemed to be really enjoying it. Everybody enjoyed A Quiet Place too. So it was a good weekend at the theater.
I thought it was fucking great.
So okay, so I had trouble figuring out who exactly everybody was for the dogs.
Okay.
Because I know that
I got
Bryan Cranston was
kind of
Champ,
the main character, the main dog.
The main dog. I think my favorite, once again, was Jeff Goldblum
as the rumor,
the rumor dog. Did you hear?
Gossipy dog.
Yeah. Oh my god,
great.
He was amazing. Did you notice that his dog was like the only one that was like kind of a little twitchy too? Well, they put those Jeff Goldblum isms into it.
The animation was just fantastic.
Yes, it was.
Oh my goodness!
I love the decision to have it be hand drawn animation for when people were on a TV screen.
Oh, it was amazing.
That was an awesome decision.
Yeah.
I mean, I really did like the movie. I liked it a lot. I love the Japanese kid.
Oh yeah, the mayor was great.
Yes,
the asshole mayor was fantastic.
Okay, so did you catch the fact that like all of the Japanese names were like pop culture things?
Yes, absolutely.
Like
and Yoko Ono played Yoko Ono.
Yeah, that's what the girlfriend said. I thought that was quite funny. I liked. Oh man. Atari is the kid's name. I thought that was great.
Right, and then what was the mayor's name?
It wasn't
like Yoshimitsu. No, that's a Tekken reference. It wasn't that, but it was something like that. Where you're right. Every single name seemed to be.
There was a Watanabe was like his sort of like creepy half dead person
and
his sidekick.
Ken Watanabe was in the movie.
Was he?
He was the doctor at the end.
Oh, that's fantastic. There was a. It wasn't Nagasaki, but it was Naga City, And I thought that was kind of interesting.
Well, what's funny about this too is like, how does he dodge not getting in trouble for some sort?
Right.
I mean, I'm sitting here watching this and I'm like,
somebody could find this offensive.
I'm glad that nobody, you know what? And if they do, just
shut the fuck.
Yeah, right.
Shut your fucking mouth. It's a joke. And it's not, to me, it's like, it's not offensive at all.
Well, because it's also making fun of like the hippie white, entitled bitch who lost her dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, that's a total stereotype of like a entitled millennial, white character.
I loved the scene where, I don't know if it was her mom or her, because she's a foreign exchange student, so I don't know if it's sort of like her host family, but they come in and give her like the glass of milk. I just I love that because, like I said, there's no subtitles, so it's just like, and you're just like, what the fuck? And she kind of then she gives her this warm glass of milk, and the girl turns off her lights, and you just realize what happened in that conversation. You didn't need to understand everybody.
No, So as far as the quality of the movie, things I liked about it, the thing I like most about Wes Anderson stuff is like there's a painting on the screen.
Right.
At all times, it feels like it's a big open space and it's got layers to it.
Yep.
I mean, it's almost like a pop-up book or something. And what's funny is it's no different than his live action movies in that respect. Like his live action movies feel that way to me, where there's like there's a picturesque quality to what's on the screen. Sometimes he'll do it so you're looking at the side of a building and all of a sudden it's like, oh, you get a side shot of the whole building and you can see what's happening in different rooms. And it's very cartoonish.
Yes.
And so when it's a cartoon, it just feels perfect to me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, he's great at just shot composition. Everything is just exactly where it needs to be. And he just... I am continually blown away with sort of how... Because I think the greatest thing about Wes Anderson, well, there are a lot of really good things about Wes Anderson, but the greatest thing is that visually you can see him. You can see any shot from basically
and hear him through the dialogue, too.
Yeah, but you will know that you are watching a Wes Anderson movie just by looking at... You don't even need the sound.
No.
You can just see a single frame and you know.
And a lot of it has to do with... I'm thinking of his live action stuff more now, but just the monotone, the way that characters look, their facial expressions.
Yeah.
It's just everything's dry.
Everything's very dry.
And it's fantastic.
I love the fact that when they did a flashback, at the end it said end of flashback.
Right.
It was just like just so many little things like that. And somebody could listen to this and be like, that's not funny at all. See the fucking movie. I'm not a good person I'm terrible at retelling things.
If you like Wes Anderson, you're going to like the movie.
Yeah.
I would say.
I'd say that's a very fair assumption.
So back to your original point, though, the 5 dogs. So you had Bill Murray as the baseball dog.
Oh, okay.
And then there was this guy, God, I can't remember his name. He was the only one I had to look up.
Okay.
He's this bald guy. He was in Seinfeld. He was like an NBC executive on Seinfeld.
Oh.
Little glasses. He's been in like some of those Christopher Guest movies, like Best in Show and stuff like that. Dog movie.
Right.
That was an accident. But, and then there was Jeff Goldblum, Bryan Cranston, and the 5th dog was... I'm spacing on what the last dog even looked like.
God damn it. Edward
Norton.
God damn.
Duh.
He was like the one that I knew.
Yeah. Edward Norton.
It was Ed Norton, Bryan Cranston.
And they all talk like this.
Let's take a vote on it.
Yeah. They all talk like this.
My
family made the treats and they went out of business.
What was your favorite food?
Right. Yeah, that's the movie.
Yes. I might cut this part out. I'm going to just share this with you because you said nobody was offended. So while you were talking, I decided to look up Isle of Dogs. And first article that comes up is from Vice Entertainment.
And people are pissed.
Isle of Dogs is a white man's fantasy of Japan. Wes Anderson's latest film is funny, charming, and just straight up cultural appropriation.
You know what? Like, leave this in and fuck those people. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, we're not going to have shit left at some point. There's nothing that's going to be able to be exaggerated whatsoever.
Yeah, when are you ever going to be able... Look, I'm a big anime fan. I love Japanese culture. I find it fucking cool and weird, and it's interesting, and I respect it, but I also... It's just like America. You know, we've got a lot of stuff here that's kind of fucking ridiculous.
Right. And you can blow it out of proportion and make it funny.
Yeah,
that's kind of the idea.
That's the whole point.
Well, and usually, isn't it like whatever the ruling class, aren't they the ones that get the most upset about shit like this? I mean, I would imagine typically it's like a white 20-year-old that's pissed about this. I would guess in most cases. Now, maybe this Vice writer or whoever decided to write this isn't, but...
Guy's name is Michael Sun.
Okay.
So S-U-N. So could be a white guy, could be an Asian guy.
Well, but my point stands that usually when you hear someone bitching about this, it's someone who's from the outside perspective anyways. I mean, that's my opinion.
I just don't see how you couldn't watch this and realize it's a fucking cartoon.
Right.
I mean... And it would be one thing if it was making some sort of vast judgment about Japanese people and all Japanese people are bad, but it's not. It's making more of a statement about, like, you know, dictatorships and people, you know, I mean, because it's like you can't blame the Japanese people in this for letting their dogs go.
No, and it's funny. I mean,
it's a funny
movie.
I mean, Jesus Christ, it's a fucking... They take dogs and put them on conveyor belts and drop them off on a fucking trash. Like, are you fucking kidding me? This is a fucking joke. Like, just accept the fact.
I know. It's really bad. I know.
It's funny.
But he gets away with doing stuff like that. I mean, think about his other movies. I mean, the Darjeeling Limited. I mean, you're in India the whole time talking about, you know, there's Indian people that are trying to serve tea. You know, I mean, it's just...
It's true.
I mean, it's true. It gets away with it.
Well, the thing is... I mean,
what is it? Does somebody think that Wes Anderson's a racist or something? I mean, like, come on.
Well, it's like he makes fun. How many white people has he made look like fucking idiots in his movies?
Correct.
But you can't. I mean, honestly, I liked the hell out of the main kid because he's fucking crazy, but also he fucking loved his dog enough to build a plane and go to a trash island.
It was so good.
And I love the fact that he had a... Yeah. I love when he gets out and he's got that little metal piece in his head. They're like, maybe that's why he's a little crazy, is because he's got a chunk of metal in it. And then he just pulls it out of his head.
Did you see that piece of metal in his head? I mean, fantastic.
I did enjoy it. But like I said, it was... I'd say for me as an individual, it was probably like 10 minutes too long. Okay. I don't know what you would cut out. Because, I mean, it was all well and good.
You just feel by the end, the Wes Anderson-ness of the movie has worn off a little bit. You want
Yeah,
okay.
Because I think it was when they were doing the re-election scene with the mayor where I started sort of zoning out a little bit. I don't want to say zone out because I was not zoning out. But that was when I was like...
Stuff wasn't hitting.
Yeah, it wasn't hitting. And I was like, I'd be fine if it ended in like the next 5 minutes. That'd be good. Because I'm about done. Like, I get it, you know.
You bringing up that scene, it just reminded me of another some of the choices with the animation, like the fights with like the cotton.
The cotton, yes,
awesome. And the end with the cats who all of a sudden there's like cats just chilling, like they got into the fight somehow.
Yeah,
and then they bolt.
Yeah,
well, like no, not us. Fuck you guys.
It felt very much like a dog person versus cat person movie.
Oh, it's a dog person movie, and I'm a cat person.
I see, and I'm a dog person. So when I saw those cats just kind of show up out of nowhere, I'm like, it's the motherfucking evil cats. They're running the whole government.
And as a cat person, I felt the same way. So,
yeah, that's actually kind of a very true thing about.
Well, you couldn't make Isle of Cats because the people would show up and the cats would just be like, fuck you. I don't give a shit about you. I'm leaving. The cats would be fine. They'd just be doing their own thing.
You know what? I actually would like to see that movie now that you say that.
Well, it's true. The kid would show up And maybe its cat would give a shit that it showed up.
Right.
But the other cats be like, well, I'm fine. I'm getting fucking, I don't need you. I'll just go piss and shit over here and I'll get my mice and whatever. But
you're selling me the shit out of this movie. Like, so you got the Wes Anderson Isle of Dogs, and then you've got like the Judd Apatow Isle of Cats.
Isle of Cats.
And they're just all like they got the catnips. You got all the fucking pot jokes.
Right. No, they airdrop the catnip on the island. But no, yeah, the cat movie would be, there's, admittedly, as a cat person, I know that a cat, like, you leave the house for a week and you show back up, they say hi, and that's like, you know, I come home from work every day, my cat checks the door just to make sure that it's not an intruder,
right,
that he can hiss at. But once he knows it's me, he doesn't give a shit. Oh, you're going to feed me now. That's all he cares about. It's not like a dog like, oh my God, you're home. You're home. I never thought you were going to get home. Oh my God, I'm so excited. No, my cat does not give a shit.
And I'm an emotionally needy person, so I love that shit for my dog.
Right. So, yeah, there you go.
But, yeah, it was really enjoyable. I enjoyed the hell out of it. So there's an interesting little twist in the movie. And the thing about the twist is that it didn't actually line up with what I thought was going to happen, which was, so you've got Bryan Cranston's character, and he says that he's been a stray his whole life, and then the little Japanese boy, he cleans him, and all of a sudden he looks almost exactly like the dog that the Japanese boy is coming to get. And you know, you find out, obviously spoilers, we kind of already gave you a warning on that shit earlier, but he's the brother of the dog that he's looking for. And the second that I sort of realized sort of the facial structure of the dog and the way that he was the one he was the only one who didn't like the Japanese kid. And I was like, okay, I know it wouldn't make sense, but watch him be fucking Spot. Watch him be the fucking dog that he's looking for. And he kind of is. But I was glad that they didn't make him.
That bit was great too, that they kept playing up through the first half of the movie. All the other dogs like really excited about this kid, and trying to help him, and the Bryan Cranston dog just like, no, I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
like I got my own problems, you know.
Yeah, okay, so Scarlett Johansson is in this movie.
Yeah,
as like
Nutmeg.
Yes. So I enjoyed her. She was great. She's always great. But I did love that bit where Bryan Cranston imagines, so she's a show dog. So she knows all these tricks. And I love the fact that she's like, I'm supposed to be balancing an 8-pound bowling ball on my nose right now. You just have to imagine that part. And then it shows him and he's actually imagining it. That was great.
Very Wes Anderson right there.
I loved it.
And the fact, like, that's what's neat about animation is you can do shit like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You don't need to, I mean, the movie was fucking awesome. I'm excited to see his next movie.
What?
In 5 years when he makes another one.
So considering I'm like, you know, I'm a huge superhero guy, I just kept on thinking like, God, I want to see Wes Anderson
give him a superhero movie.
I want to see him do a superhero movie.
Why not?
Because it's gonna be fucking weird. I want to see the Wes Anderson Superman.
Hey, can't you picture like Clark Kent in the newspaper, like I
just picture Clark Kent as I feel like he would turn him into a kid, and instead of like the real Superman suit, like he'd still have the shirt, but I imagine like a tied blanket around his, you know.
See, I would imagine Superman is saving people and no one is excited about it.
That would be great.
Superman.
Oh
yeah,
it looks like he caught that 8-ton
right
building.
No, it'd be perfect.
Yeah, I would watch the shit out of that movie. That would be awesome.
Yeah, nobody really gets excited in his movies unless they're Japanese and you don't know what they're saying.
See, and that was great because like he was the only real character that got him and the white girl.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the human characters, kind of, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. Go see it. I liked it. Thought it was good. Now, I saw a third movie that you didn't see.
Yeah.
It was called Chappaquiddick, and it was Jason Clarke as Ted Kennedy.
Yep.
And it was about in the 60s when he basically was driving with Bobby Kennedy's former secretary. At this point, Bobby was dead, and he drove his car off of a dock into a lake and left her to drown.
Kind of a dick move.
Yes, and it could not have made him look worse as a human being. I mean, it is terrible what he did. I mean, like, and I looked it up after the movie, and I had heard about it before. I mean, I always thought he was kind of a dick, but I looked it up after the movie, and apparently the strategy was to just kind of lay out the facts as had been presented. So there's not a lot of conjecture in the movie.
Really?
No, it's pretty, I mean, it's like 5 days after it happened is the whole movie.
Okay.
And, yeah, I mean, the story is he leaves her to drown. He gets out of the lake, sits on the beach for about 15 to 20 minutes, just kind of pondering what should I do. Walks back up to the party he was at. Obviously, they didn't have cell phones at this time, but he walks back to the party, gets a couple of his friends played in serious roles by Ed Helms and Jim Gaffigan. Yeah. Brings them back. They tell Ted, you gotta turn yourself in for this. Like, this is serious, blah, 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 blah. At this point, they think she's dead, whatever.
Right.
So then he goes back to his hotel, sleeps on it, goes to breakfast the next day. At some point, some fisherman and his kid find the car, report it to the police. And Ted Kennedy, after the car's been found, they know there's a dead person, whatever, goes to the police station. I believe it was like 10 to 12 hours after this happened. So it's a pretty crazy story. And
you couldn't see my face, but I'm judging harshly.
Yeah. So basically he let this happen, and then he ended up serving in the Senate for 40 years after this, and ended up being the third longest serving senator in U.S. history.
Spoiler alert.
Well, it's just crazy. And I mean, there's one character in the movie who seems to care about like doing the right thing. The rest of them are quite shockingly, just there to try to, save Kennedy's career. But yeah, it was really good. Jason Clarke was amazing. So that would be the highlight of the movie for me, was how good he was. Right. It's early, but he's the best actor this year, I would say, so far.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, he's really good in it. Like, he just nails it. Because there's times where they kind of try to make you feel bad for him, but they're not like overly sappy or sentimental. And I mean, you can't leave the movie without thinking the guy in this character in the movie, if you're looking at it as a character, you don't even want to, sorry about that. You don't even want to see it as a real person. You're looking at it as a character, is a real piece of shit. Right. And basically what you find out is that this woman had an air pocket in this car, and she was breathing air. Had he have gone and gotten someone, she's alive.
Jesus Christ.
Yep. In the end, it's all about like the things that they get away with and like the wool they pull over our eyes, politicians and people in power. And I mean, especially if you were a Kennedy at that point. Right. You know.
I mean, yeah. Camelot and all that.
Right. So yeah, very interesting movie. I'd give it like a 7.5. 8 maybe. Just, it's not going to be for everyone, because it's a lot of character drama and people sitting in rooms and talking, but there's
that's all the Marvel Netflix shows are.
There you go.
It's just people sitting in rooms and talking. I have a feeling
this is a little more interesting than Jessica Jones.
Oh yeah, I would imagine.
But the good performances by the people in it. If you're into the subject matter, I would highly suggest seeing it. If you just want to see a good performance and a guy who doesn't do his Kennedy too intense, you never feel like it's a cartoon character you're watching, which is how a lot of Kennedy impressions sound. But yeah, there you go. That was the third movie.
That sounds like an infuriating movie that would make me I'd be mad walking out of the theater.
It was, you're constantly going like, no way. Like, there's no way that this, like, but then you look it up and it sounds pretty legit. I mean, you're saying no way, but you're also going like, but I wouldn't put it past a politician to be like, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I got back into my DC CW shows.
Oh boy.
And this weekend I watched the big crossover.
Oh Jesus. That was the one with, was it Nazi alternate?
Yes, I was shocked.
Yeah.
I was shocked. I'm sitting here thinking to myself like, holy shit, They've got Supergirl flying around with an SS Superman logo on her chest on the CW.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of. I saw the poster for it, and I was like, that's some solid shit right there.
It's pretty. And I was sitting there like, are you fucking kidding me? They're doing this? Yeah. And then it was pretty good. It was funny because they tried to do like the Avengers thing with some of the scenes where the camera kind of whips low
around
budget.
You see them all in there.
And they didn't. I mean, it was fun. The show's pretty much up. The Flash is pretty good still. Supergirl's okay. Arrow's getting a little ridiculous, or has been for a while. And that other show, I've been trudging through it just because I watch them all. Because I figure what the hell I'm going to watch them all. But that one's almost unwatchable.
You know what's
But it's not as bad. None of them are as bad as Krypton.
You know what's really funny is that I'm the comic guy out of the two of us.
And you can't watch
And I can't watch any of the comic TV shows.
Yeah, see, I have fun with these.
They're so...
But here's what's funny. I was thinking this, and an unpopular opinion coming here. Overall, if you take the whole catalog of these shows,
here it comes.
I enjoy watching these more than the Marvel Netflix shows.
You know what's funny about that is you say unpopular opinion. I'm thinking that's going to become the popular opinion real soon.
Yeah, maybe.
Because here's the thing. Let's just go through them. Now, I'm going to just go and paint with a broad brush here and say that all the CW shows are pretty bland and forgettable, but they have a couple nice characters in them.
And they're fun.
And they have a light tone, so they're kind of fun.
You can forgive them for their stupidity at times.
Because they're not aiming for anything higher. So let's just go through the Netflix shows because I know those a little better. Jessica Jones 1, fine. Luke Cage 1. First half is pretty good. Second half is pretty fucking shit. Iron Fist, shit. Defenders, shit.
Never watched it.
It's bad.
Daredevil was good.
Daredevil is good.
I like both seasons of Daredevil.
Daredevil and Punisher.
Yeah.
Those are the good shows.
Those are the good ones. Yeah, I would agree.
Everything else is shit. So yeah, I think you're pretty safe because it's mostly shit with a couple shiny rubies in it versus like.
Well, it's when it's dour shit. There's like nothing to be.
You have nothing to hold on to.
Right.
And they're so. I'm going to use like one of the kids' terms now. They're so try hard.
Yeah, no, it's true.
They're just like, oh.
Actually, sadly, that's not the kids' term. That's a like 40-year-old living in their mom's basement term, I would say.
Oh man.
Try hard, just a video gaming. Like the people that Ready Player One was aimed towards pleasing.
Jesus Christ.
So it's your term.
Fucking gay. I can't even appease the kids when I'm trying to use their own fucking lingo.
No, that's not their. I mean, maybe they use it now, but they took it from me.
But yeah, I mean, all those shows are try hard, and then they're fucking terrible.
No, yeah, I can't watch Jessica Jones. I've watched 4 episodes of Legends of Tomorrow in the last 3 days, and I can't get through the second episode of Jessica Jones. I can't watch it.
I can't understand. Like I'm watching, I've seen little bits and pieces. That first crossover with those CW, it's awful.
Actually, the latest one was the best out of the 3 or 2 or whatever. And there was a musical one last year that was pretty good.
I saw the musical one, and I actually really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
You know what we're finding out about ourselves from this podcast is we're actually musical guys.
I think most people are. They just won't admit it. I mean, it's one of those genres where it's like if you're going to sit down and you get into it, I mean, it's fun.
Yeah. Well,
actually, that was a really good episode. It had a good ending, I remember, with him proposing to the Flash proposing to Iris. Yeah, pretty good. But yeah, this Nazi one, I was like, holy shit.
That's really cool.
It's unnecessary.
How did they explain Superman? Was Superman a Nazi?
No, and they brought him up at one point. Okay, so there was Kara, I think Nazi Kara had killed him in the other world. And the other Kara had said something like, oh, my cousin will come, blah, 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 blah. Because the plot was Nazi Supergirl's heart was failing for some reason. And basically the only reason they came into our world was to get
Kara's
heart as like as an implant or whatever.
Okay.
Transplant, excuse me. Yeah, really deep plot, but it just makes it sound so stupid.
We can put some implants in her.
But it was cool because it was fucking great. Like the Green Arrow, the Nazi Green Arrow, they're calling the Führer and shit. Like
really. Wow.
Yeah, I didn't expect it at all. It was way more entertaining than I anticipated. And now it's going to go back to some dumb shit when I start watching it again.
So I just don't know. This is just where we differ, because I don't know how the fuck you can put up with those shows.
Now I've powered through. Let's see. We're on season 6 of Arrow. I've watched every episode.
Because it's just like...
Arrow, the first 3 seasons, that's the best, the biggest like power through a show that I've had in a long time was those first few seasons of Arrow. Like, okay, I'm watching this. I'd go to bed. Like, oh, can I watch another one before I go to bed? It's 2 a.m. I got to work tomorrow. Okay, I can watch one more.
See, that's kind of sad to me.
I like it
because it's fucking Arrow. Like,
I thought it was good.
I had that with Stranger Things.
Yeah, but Stranger Things, you don't have to do that because it's only 10 episodes. With Arrow, I'm like, shit. I got 21 episodes to watch in this season.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I like it's bloated.
Oh, they're super bloated. Yeah.
And they do the same fucking shit all the time.
Yeah, but in the first couple seasons, like, you're not quite as,
Right. They're not as formulaic.
And the second season with Deathstroke was fucking awesome. I don't care what anybody says. Here I am. I'm watching a woman's channel, basically. There was another one I caught this week called Zach Morris's Trash, where they're all 3-minute little bits about how terrible of a person Zach Morris was on I don't even remember the show. Zach Morris on not Beverly Hills 902. Oh, Saved by the Bell. Zach Morris's Trash.
Oh yeah,
pretty funny stuff. I mean, he did some horrible things.
I can't remember Saved by the Bell. If I'm
well, neither can I. But I was watching this and I'm like, oh wow, what a piece of shit. It's just funny. I don't know. That's funny.
You ever seen Cocktail?
Dumb shows with Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
Oh yeah.
I just watched that for the first time.
You probably hated it. I know it's critically panned, but I like it just because I saw it, when I was a kid.
I find Tom Cruise to be tremendously unlikable in that movie.
Which is rare for Tom Cruise.
He's a fucking prick.
He is a prick.
And he basically doesn't...
Well, and his buddy's a prick, too.
His buddy is a fucking asshole. He's like, yeah, I slept with your girl to teach you a lesson. Now let's go and build a bar together. Yeah,
and you're like,
are you fucking kidding me?
It's a really stupid movie. But I mean,
it's got the... Oh, by the way, I love to imagine, so we've got, cinematic universes now. I love to imagine that Karate Kid and Cocktails exists in the same universe.
Okay.
Because it's the same love interest from Karate Kid.
Sure. And you're saying she's the same character.
She's the same character. That's what I would love. Is she cheated? Okay, so I just recently watched Karate Kid 2. And the reason how they get her out of the movie, because I think she went off to do college or something.
Okay.
In real life, so she didn't come back for the second one. So in the first scene, Daniel-san shows up to Mr. Miyagi's and he's like, got a busted ass car, that car that he gave him in the first one. And he's like, yeah, I let her drive it, but then she started seeing a football player from USC.
There you go. That's perfect.
That's how she cheated on me. That girl that you liked from the first movie, she was actually a bitch.
There you go.
And now she's pregnant with Tom Cruise's kid.
Right.
And she's disowned. And I love the fact that he's like the dad at the end of the movie. He's like, you're on your own. After that whole melodramatic thing where he comes in and he's like, I want to be a part of the baby's life.
I'm giving Alex the look of, it's been a long time since I've watched this movie.
I don't give a shit. But he goes, okay, so Tom Cruise, he finds out he's got this kid, secretly finds out that the girl is actually rich. And the dad tries to pay him off and tries to give him $10,000 to not be a part of his daughter's life.
Got it. Okay.
She's like, he's like, no, screw that. And then they kick him out of the building and then blah, blah, blah. He does some more stuff and then he comes back and he's at his friend, his Australian friend, that kills himself. And that's sort of the thing that makes him realize oh, fuck, maybe I should, actually try and do something here. So he goes to the building. They're not going to let him in. He gets in. He kind of gets into a fight with the doorman, and then the dad, and then they're leaving, and she decides to go with him because they're like, I love you, I've always loved you, or whatever. It's like, you guys fucking had like 2 days together, but okay. It's the 80s. I'm fine with this. It's a fucking weird movie. But anyways, as they're leaving and they're in the elevator after this whole physical scuffle, the dad looks out at them and he's like, you're on your own. And he's like, I wouldn't have it any other way. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure he's not talking to you. And also, you're so fucking selfish.
Right.
You're like, I'm going to take this girl with me because she's having my kid. I don't know if I can give him a good life. Probably it'd be a better life if he was rich, or she,
right?
The daughter,
Yeah, you might want to make good with the old man.
Yeah, but no, my pride is worth all of this.
Right, and he's gonna go out and make it.
He's gonna go out. I know, and that's the best thing is that when he goes there, he shows up and he's trying to tell the girl like, hey, I'm gonna make it. I know I can be something. This is the same fucking shit that you've been saying since day one of the script. And your whole, like, I'm going to become rich thing never went away. It's very much a product of its time. I didn't hate it, but there are a lot of problems with
I know
that
it's
movie.
like a critically panned pile of shit.
I was a little shocked because I was like, this is a classic. And then I look at Rotten Tomatoes. It's
a classic. People liked it. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like 46% on Rotten Tomatoes or something like that.
I'm surprised it's even that high. I thought it was low.
Yeah. So I mean, I didn't hate it, but I really hated him.
There you go. The character, when you have a main character that is hateable.
Yeah. He's such a prick. And it's so weird, too, because he's a vet. And then, I love the fact he tries to go to college for like a day. Well, it's not really a day, but
it feels like a day in the movie, though.
Yeah, and he's like, I can't learn anything from these fuckers. You're all so dumb, and it's like, you're a bartender and you have zero education. Like, it's kind of a dick move to call.
It's a weird movie. You know what I mean? It's just weird to set up your protagonist in such a.
Yeah. Well, the first moment when he shows up in the movie, he's trying to catch a Greyhound to New York after getting back from whatever war he was a part of, and his friends drive in front of the bus, make the bus pull over so he can get on, and I'm like, yeah, it's so inconsiderate. You couldn't just show up on time for the fucking. They post the times when the bus is gonna leave. You're a fucking asshole.
It's like the assholes that show up for a movie 10 minutes late and then.
Oh, Jesus Christ. And have other people sitting in their seats?
Well, that's not their fault, but they should have been there on time. Those seats wouldn't have been sat in by other people.
Yeah, and you wouldn't interrupt the movie.
A very quiet movie.
A very quiet movie. Some might say it was a quiet place to watch a movie.
Right.
Boom. Nailed it. That's the end of the episode.
Perfect.
So that's another episode of Bored and Annoyed. I have been home at the movies. Home with a B.
And I'm Jackson, and I hope you weren't as annoyed as I was during A Quiet Place when people were shuffling around trying to find a seat 5 minutes into it.
I hope you weren't as annoyed as I was when I couldn't eat my nachos at a proper pace.
Well, that's your own fault.
That is my own
annoying
fault.
Person.
I was the annoying person.
So.
I actually had the dude next to me look at me like, hey, you're a fucking prick. Yes. If you guys want to email us, you can email us at 2boredandannoyedboys@gmail.com.
That's a surprise for me.
That's our email. It's brand new.
All
brand
right.
spanking new.
Sprankin' new with an
Sprankin' like the SS Supergirl.
Oh, that was great. Just great seeing the SS sign on Supergirl.